Run into situations where God is showing me examples of exactly what He's teaching me. This morning, before I started my day and started working, I came across an email from someone who replied to a video that I created, I want to say last week. And I will say this: I tend not to receive emails about people with their gripes about something I've said. And it wasn't more about me, it was more about God. But I will say this: I've been on social media for 5 years, and this is the first time I've ever received the email about someone questioning life in God. And what's interesting is that it correlates to exactly what God has been telling me. People are blaming God for their wrongdoings, their consequences, their situations. Or I should say, and people are blaming God for other people's consequences, behaviors, and the things that they're not doing. And people are looking on that outside versus looking within, and they're not seeing the correlation to the realities that they're in, whether it's financial, relationship, career path, whatever that looks like, to say, what am I doing where I can become a better version so I don't have to experience what I don't want? And before I get started, hey y'all, my name is Terry, and I am known as the Well Sharer on social media and amongst friends and family. And I'm here to actually help you connect life to your mindset, your relationships, and your money. Because as the wealth sharer, I share wealth for you to build wealth. But in order for you to build wealth, you have to grow in wisdom for you to maintain and become a good steward of the things that you get to experience, whether that be your home, your car, your friends, your family, your spouse, your children. We all are to become great stewards of what it is that we're blessed with. So, in response to the person that emailed me, like I said, this is the first time in 5 years someone has sent me an email regarding a message and content that I created. And that message was pertaining to what God had enlightened me to what is happening with mankind and our mindset and our thoughts and our experiences. Now, it wasn't last week, so I take that back. Last week I was in Mexico for the week. It was the week before that I posted a video about what God taught me. And literally, it was one of my best videos, like immediately. And I want to say that's the video where, someone had responded in the comments and they were just saying about the challenges that they're facing. And, I gave them support. So I haven't responded to the person yet via email. I will, because I want to encourage them and help them with their mindset. So I want to be able to coach them through this experience where they're blaming someone outside of themselves for the situations that they are manifesting, or the experience that other people are manifesting that they're getting to be part of. But this video is more of correlation to the fact that people are facing consequences. That's financial consequences, career path, relationship consequences, their own self consequences, because they're not following through on what they're supposed to be doing. And I made a video, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe three, where God had told me people don't like taking responsibility. And I can understand. It is easier to point fingers than to look at yourself. It is easier to look at someone else versus looking in the mirror, because it feels, there's a word, I don't want to say harsh. It feels like an attack on your personality and who you are, and oh my gosh, I'm no good and all this stuff. It feels like an attack on you versus looking at it as, you know what, yeah, I fumbled the ball. Yeah, I didn't do what's right, but what can I do better? It's more of a pick yourself up and how do you turn it around? And I know that I have not always followed through on the things that God has told me to do. There's a lot of non follow throughs that I've done in the course of the past 20 years, 10 years, five. I mean, heck, even, today I didn't eat the way I was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? So we are always in this element of experiencing life with doing the things we're supposed to do and then also not. But there's also consequences when we do not. Like, yes, I know I have shorted my family a good million or two from not listening to direction from 5 years ago. I know that. I know that, and that direction may have even go back to like 10 years ago and 15 years ago and even 20 years ago. There was things that I was told to do from a financial standpoint that could have changed the trajectory even more than what it is today. Now, you know, I'm saying like shorted ourselves like a million too, okay? And I'm okay with saying that because I could be like, oh my gosh, I could sit in like, oh my gosh, I could receive all these directions and instructions from God on what to do, how to handle our money, how to invest, and how to elevate ourselves. And I didn't do it. But rather than sit in that consequence, why not start following through on the things that I need to do? Because that's what happens, right? People tend to experience and understand where they went wrong and they sit in it and then they don't do anything about it. So many times people are blaming other people. They're like, I don't make enough money. My job doesn't pay me enough, all this other stuff. But what can you do to make yourself better? What can you do to be able to have more and experience the more that you want? It all is within you. So you have to stop blaming other people, particularly God, about your experiences when you're the one who's dealing with consequences from your own actions, or you're dealing with consequences of someone else who didn't follow through on their actions. So we have to understand responsibility is where it starts. You cannot have the more until you take responsibility and be accountable. You have to trim back on your expenses. You have to spend less. You have to live below your means, not within, below your means. You have to not get the nicer car because you got a $500, you know, pay raise a year that will put you in a car that you can't afford. There's things that you're doing that results in consequences. And when we don't listen on the things we're supposed to do in life, then we feel the backlash of not following through, and then it becomes about, well, it's other people. No, it's we have to face the reality that we are responsible for what we do. We have a free will. We have accountability or lack thereof. There's procrastination or someone who's productive. Which P are you going to choose? You have to understand discipline, being a good steward, is going to create the things that you want. And you can no longer blame God or anyone else for the things that you're facing, because somewhere along the line, someone, whether it was you or someone else, is not doing what they're supposed to do. So, accountability is one of the first steps. And then two, responsibility by doing the things you need to do. So if you want to lose weight and you know you're supposed to lose weight and you know you're supposed to cut back on sugar and salt and all these things, and then you get diabetes and you are sick and ill, you can't blame God or someone else, because that was the choice that you made and you know you're supposed to do better. So there is elements in everyone's life where they want to elevate, whether it is with their self love or their health, their finances, no matter what it is, right? We're talking about being in alignment to where you're supposed to be. There are categories of your life where you want to do better, but we can no longer talk about it and not be about it and then blame God and other people. So this is one of those, kick your butt type videos in the nicest way possible to get you to understand that it's about time that you say yes to yourself and your family and to the generational wealth that's going to change your family's trajectory. It's about time you take responsibility to know that you are so important to the equation that what you do matter. So you have to understand, until you come to grips with, you are responsible for something in your life, if not most things in your life, then otherwise you're going to sit back and blame everybody else, or you're going to sit back and blame yourself so much that you don't move. Do none of those, okay? What can you do better in today? Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till a new month. Don't wait till a new year. I want you to sit with yourself and write down your goals and write down what you don't want. Write down all these things and assess what can you do better. For every situation you're dealing with, there is going to be patience required because there's going to be a point where you want to do better and you said yes to whatever it is, but then you still got to wait. So people get impatient and then they still start blaming God or they start blaming somebody else. Patience. Okay. No one becomes a millionaire overnight. No one is healed overnight. No one, gets to their destination overnight when it comes to this world. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Yeah, we can get in a car and go somewhere, but when it comes to your career path, your finances, even school takes a long time. You have to put in the work. And until you consistently put in the work, then you'll be able to get what you want. So I pray this resonates with you. I pray this lands, and I pray that it touches you so much that in the now, you are already creating the ideas and the behavior that, to write down and to think about and ponder on where you can start to elevate. And elevation doesn't have to be something that is far reach, it's something that you can do. You are able to elevate yourself and others. So I pray that you get to where it is that you want. And I pray that you get there with ease, but with prayer and with faith. Bye.